She had a facelift at 71. James Kim discovered that his mother had surgery. About a month after it happened, he had stopped by her apartment for the first time in a while. He opened the door and something was immediately different. Her face. Something had changed. Mom, your face. What about it? Something looks different. Tighter. She walked toward the kitchen. You're imagining things. Have you eaten? He followed her in. I'm not imagining it. Mom, did you have something done? A procedure. Surgery. She did not stop. She took out a pot. She filled it with water. Mom. She turned. Facelift. James stood there and could not speak. A facelift. The whole face. At 71. Alone. Without a word. When? A month ago. A month ago. Is that why you haven't let me visit? I waited for the swelling to go down. He did not know where to put his reaction. Whether to be angry or frightened or simply astonished. Mom, do you know how major that surgery is? General anesthesia. There are real risks. Especially at your age. I know. I researched everything before I did it. That's exactly the problem. You knew all of that and you did it alone without telling me. She said quietly, I thought you would stop me. Of course I would have. That's why I didn't say anything. He sat down heavily. Mom, why? Why would you do this? Now, at your age. She lit the burner. James, yes, I'm going to be a senior model. He looked up. What? A model. A senior model. A department store is looking for older models for a campaign. The sentence did not land cleanly. What are you talking about? A model. She looked at him for a moment. Last fall, I was at the grocery store. Someone gave me a business card. A photographer. He said he was casting older models. He said I had a good face. Mom, that could be a scam. It's not a scam. I checked. It's a real company. There's an actual campaign. James looked at his mother in silence. So you had surgery for this? I wanted to feel more confident. When I'm being photographed, on camera, if your face is too slack, your expressions don't come through. He said nothing for a long time. They ate together. He was quiet through the meal. His mother served him as she always did. Soup, side dishes, rice, and while she moved around the kitchen, she seemed to be somewhere else inside her own thoughts. He kept looking at her face across the table. It was different, clearly different. The heaviness around her eyes had lifted. Her cheeks were different. It was strange to him. And yet her eyes were the same. Whatever was behind them had not changed. Driving home, he thought his mother was going to be a model. At 71, he could not quite hold the idea. But he also thought, when had she ever done anything for herself? The mother he remembered had always been at home, making meals, doing laundry, taking care of his father, taking care of the children. After his father died, she had gotten quieter still. The senior center, television alone in the evening. That was the shape of her life. And then someone at a grocery store had given her a business card. Said she had a good face. He thought about what that moment must have been like for her. 2 days later he went back. Mom, do you still have the card? She got it from a drawer. He looked at it. A studio name. A photographer's name. This person saw you at the store. I was picking out fruit. He came over and handed it to me. I almost just walked away. But you didn't. She smiled slightly. I put it in a drawer for 2 months. 2 months. I'd take it out and look at it. Then put it back. Then look again. Then finally I called. He thought about those 2 months. His mother taking out the card and putting it back. Why did you wait so long? She thought for a moment. Whether someone like me could actually do this. Whether the whole idea was ridiculous. That's what I kept thinking. And then you did it anyway. And then I did it anyway. Why? She looked at the window for a moment. James, when that man gave me his card, my first thought was that it was a scam. But then he said something. He said my face had a story in it. He said it would photograph well. Your face has a story. Yes, those words stayed with me. Even at home, even lying down at night. I kept thinking about what it meant. James had nothing to say. James, in my life I have never had the feeling that someone was really seeing me. As a mother, as a wife, as those roles, that's not a bad thing. But this man just looked at me. At this face, her voice was steady, but inside that steadiness there was something quiet. Something she had carried for a very long time without putting it down. James felt those words go somewhere deep. The feeling of being seen. His mother had not had that feeling. And at the age of 71, in a grocery store, she had felt it for the first time. He almost cried. He held it. When is the shoot? Next month. What are they photographing? A spring clothing campaign. For older customers. A group of us together. Have you practiced? Yes. I've done a few test shoots. How did it go? She smiled slightly. Awkward. When I stand in front of a camera I don't know where to look. So the surgery. The surgery is that too. But also, I wanted to do this properly. This kind of opportunity doesn't come around at my age. He carried those words home. This kind of opportunity doesn't come around at my age. The following month, the shoot day came. He drove her. He did not want her navigating alone. The studio was full of people her age. Men and women in their 70s, trying on clothes in the dressing room. Being attended to by makeup artists moving quickly around them. His mother went into the dressing room. He waited outside. About 20 minutes later she came out. He would remember that moment for a long time. She was wearing a spring blazer. Pale beige. Her hair was pinned neatly. She had makeup on, and as she walked out, she was slightly uncertain on her feet but her head was up. That face. It was his mother, but not the mother he had always known. Not the mother who served him food. Not the mother who went to the senior center and watched television in the evening. Just a person with a story in her face. How'd I look? He looked at her for a long time. Beautiful, Mom. She smiled. The shoot began. He stood in the corner and watched her take her place in front of the camera. At first she was stiff. The photographer said something. She smiled a little. He said something else. She smiled a little more. And then at some point she looked at the camera naturally. In that moment James could not breathe. Those eyes. The brightness that had been in them when she received the business card. The brightness of the 2 months of taking it out and putting it back in. The brightness of deciding. Still alive. 71 years of living and that brightness was still there. James stood in the corner and cried. On the way home his mother said, "It was strange, wasn't it? All of this. What do you mean? Doing something like this at my age?" He drove for a moment. "Mom, yes, I saw you today. For the first time." She was quiet. "What do you mean? I've only ever seen you as my mother. Today I saw you as a person. One person." She looked out the window. A long pause. Then quietly, "Thank you, James." Spring evening moved past the windows of the car. She reached over and placed her hand gently on top of his on the steering wheel. Without a word, he felt that hand and thought the surgery was not really about the surgery. What mattered was that she had wanted something. That the part of her that wanted things was still there and still working. And that she had followed it. That took courage. That was his mother. If this story reached you today, have you ever had the experience of someone truly seeing you? Not your role, not your function, just you. That kind of seeing is rarer than we admit. And perhaps there is someone near you right now who is waiting for exactly that. Look at them today. Just look. If these stories matter to you, please subscribe. We bring you a new one every week from the places where people finally let themselves be seen.